My name is Bruce Cook. I designed and built the Avian Adventurer over a period of 10 years. Join me now as I show you the world of recreational flying and some of my favourite views of my home, New Zealand, from overhead. Hi everyone, welcome to the blog. You'll notice that today the aeroplane is actually looking quite nibbled at. We've got all the panels off it, all the cowlings off, all the wing panels and even the interiors out. At the moment we're doing the annual inspection, which is a standard requirement for basically every aircraft, that we have to do a full inspection on it every 12 months or 100 hours, whichever comes first. The Adventurer here has only done 19 hours in the last year, so it's not a particularly hour-based inspection. So what we're doing is the standard annual inspection, looking through all the things that may have worn out, need replacing in the course of the last year. So it's quite an intensive inspection. I normally find that it takes a couple of weekends to do it. Now, I'm doing my own inspection. That's because this is a home-built aeroplane, and I have also gained a maintenance approval. Most aeroplanes you need to have a licensed aircraft engineer to go and do the maintenance work on them. I've got my maintenance approval. It's something which we can get through the Civil Aviation Authority in New Zealand with the aid of a training course that the Sport Aircraft Association runs, which ironically I'm the one who actually runs the courses. So yeah, we do this, we know about all the legislation and stuff and what the mandatory requirements are for an inspection. We do 3 of these inspections under supervision, we sit an exam, and then we get given the approval to actually maintain our own aeroplanes for a period of 5 years. At the end of that 5 years we can then reapply and get it extended. Yeah, so this is one of the key things about this aeroplane, is that because I've got my maintenance approval, it's actually an affordable aeroplane to operate, that I do all the maintenance on it. The only thing that I have to outsource to a licensed guys are the compass swing, radio inspections, and the 2-yearly review of airworthiness that has to be done to it. The actual cost of the inspection is quite affordable as well, because with an automotive engine like the Subaru EJ20 hanging on the front of this, it only uses automotive consumables, things like the filters and the oils and things which you can buy from any automotive parts supplier. I think I'm quite fortunate that the average annual cost of doing a standard annual inspection, so not including sort of defect rectification, is around about $125 to $200. It's entirely affordable. Even spread over the 19 hours of flying, that's around about $10 a flying hour. Not too bad, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at some of the things that we look at during an inspection, just so that you get an idea of what's involved in owning an aeroplane, particularly a home built, and what's involved with actually carrying out these regular routine maintenance. Because the maintenance is actually really important regardless of what you do and how you fly it. The maintenance is critical, and it has to have a particular standard that you have to meet. So let's have a look at some of the things that we do. Okay, so probably the most important part to check on an annual inspection is actually the engine. This is the EJ20 on the front of the Adventurer. It's got the Ivoprop propeller. One of the things that we have to do on the inspection is change things like the oil and fuel filters, which are here, and the spark plugs. The spark plugs are currently out at the moment. We do a compression test of the engine to check what the cylinders are looking like. And we do a good general inspection over everything, all the exhaust system, all the coolant system in this case, because remember, this is actually a liquid cooled engine. We've got the induction system there that we have a good look over, the prop, check all the lock wiring and things and all the brushes and everything, and generally a real good look over it. You see there's the oil cooler there, and all our battery and electrical system. So that's probably the first phase of the inspection, is to actually do this. Takes probably about 3/4 of a day to do just the power plant section, and that's sort of where most of your time on you spend an awful lot of time on an inspection just pulling things apart. Here's all the engine cowls and a whole lot of panels that have come off just one side of the aeroplane. You'll find, yeah, all the underside of the wing has been opened up, every inspection panel. These are actually just little snap panels that clip over the top. All of those are opened up. All the wing root fairings. We find we've taken everything out of the inside. That's all the seats. We've got the baggage liner is out of there as well, so we can look right down inside of the fuselage. We've got bits and pieces off the tail section as well. All the panels are off there. The idea is that we open everything up first and then we inspect. There's a sort of three or four phases to an inspection. You start by opening the aircraft up, then you do the inspection, then you do the rectification, and then you close it all back up again. So each of those phases is quite a separate phase. We don't bother sort of rushing off and you find, oh look, the first little defect you find, and you then spend all your time sorting that out, and then you find that as you get on to the next stage and finish off your inspection, that there's actually something bigger that could have been addressed. So the idea is inspect first, then you've got a list of things that need to be rectified, and then you can have a real look at, know what's involved with any rectification issues, get that sorted out, and then that's all done and closed up, and the aircraft is signed off. Okay, this is inside the cabin, and there's a lot of stuff that we look at in here. We start by having a good look right the way down the tail cone here. I normally get a really bright light out, which shines all the way down there. Shove my head down through the hole there, have a good look around, look at all those joints in the structure. We look at things like check the seat belts for security, all the fuel lines and things through the cabin. That's a flap cable coming down the side there. We've got all the centre, what we'll call the centre tunnel is opened up, all the sides of it there. So there's the flap mechanism there. We've got all sorts of goodies in the back there. We've got the control system follow through, which comes in here. We've got, one of the things about the Adventurer is that it all works with push-pull cables, so everything just works nice and smoothly. We don't have many pulleys or anything to deal with, and it all just flows through there. You see there's bits of grease on the control system. It looks a bit messy, but that's actually the way it should be. So to have a look at where all the bell cranks and everything work and hang on there, and of course look in underneath all the rudder pedals and things and check that they're all right. There's all the brake master cylinders, check that they're not leaking and dripping oil everywhere. And then of course we come up and we do a check in behind the instrument panel, check all the instrument lines and everything are safe and secure in there. So we do a fair bit on the inside here. It can be quite awkward when you have to sort of grovel underneath in the footwells here. Of course we'll need to do a big vacuum out all the grit and sand that walks its way into the aeroplane, just to make sure that it doesn't get into any of the control systems as well. So it's a preventative maintenance along with an inspection there. All the maintenance tasks are actually specified and recorded on these check sheets. That's part of the approved maintenance program that every aircraft has when it initially gets issued. In this case, this program I actually wrote, all the actual check sheets. They give you all sorts of stuff like that about all the fuel tanks and bits and pieces like that. That's a section of the wing check sheet there. And yeah, when it's done, we all get signed off here. And at the end of the inspection, we have to do a release to service. Anything that we find that is faulty then gets written up on a miscellaneous worksheet. So I've got one of these here, got various bits and pieces here. I've got a carbon monoxide detector that needs replacing. I've got some tyres which I know that I'm going to have to change. This is something that I'd prepared earlier. I've got some tyres sitting here that we need to put on there. It's not so much that the tyres are worn or damaged, but the sidewalls are cracking. They've been in service for about 12 years now. The aeroplane hasn't been flying that long, but they've been sitting there for that time, and so they just wear out regardless of the use particularly. Oh yeah, there's the spark plugs there that we have taken out of the engine. When spark plugs come out, we have a good look at those. We also have a good look at the oil filter. We cut the oil filter open, have a good look for contaminants inside that. So there's a lot of stuff that we cover in the course of the check. Okay, weekend 3 of the annual inspection process. At the moment we've got all the airframe finished, it's all closed back up again, all the inside is back in the aeroplane again. Engine cowls are still off because there's one more thing we've got to do on that, and that is to do an engine power assurance test, just to check that everything is working fine after the inspection. I've done a few things on the engine today. The pitch control brushes on the propeller, they've been replaced. They seem to wear abnormally on this aeroplane, so I seem to go through those quite often, so changed those. And we've also got a slight misfire when I did the pre-check runs, which I think I might have solved, so we're going to have to ensure that we've got that sorted out when we do our engine runs. So we do the engine runs, and then if everything's okay, we put the cowlings back on it and we sign the aircraft out as we release it to service. So with the engine runs done, we've put the engine cowlings back on, which was not necessarily a straightforward exercise, because while I was doing that, just to prove that things don't go according to plan, I managed to hit the transponder antenna, which sits underneath the belly here, with my shoulder, and broke it off. So we've had to go through and get a new transponder antenna and fit that. So that was just an unexpected sort of thing that I had to do. A bit annoying, but hey, that's the way that these aeroplanes go. So we've now got it completed. The final step is to sign off the paperwork, so we go through all the worksheets and we and make a signature which releases the aeroplane to service. At that point the aeroplane is legal to fly again. We also complete the flight log that goes into the aeroplane, the technical log. In my case I use a customised one which I made up myself, because it's a nice easy way to record the actual daily flight hours that it flies. So with that done, we'll be able to get the aeroplane out again and go flying again as soon as the weather allows. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to click like, or better still, click subscribe. Share it to social media by all means, and stay tuned for more episodes of Overhead.